The dark turn in Aussie housing. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your, cheap cold coffee that you got in the morning and let's have a look at, this article, or this article that appeared on news.com.au about a dark turn in Aussie housing, guys. Is this the crash that everyone's been waiting for, that people have been predicting for decades? Is property finally going to be fair and easy for everyone to get into? Yeah. Let's have a look. This was the article that drew my attention on news.com. You got to look at the title because honestly, most people will read this. Slip, that sounds scary. Slipping isn't good. A dark turn in Aussie housing. Oh boy. Demand in Australia's housing market could be easing off with a shock fall in new lending commitments. Oh boy. Now, of course, this is pure evidence that the market is going to collapse. All the predictions that housing was going to fall 40%, all the modeling the RBA was doing and pushing the banks to get ready for negative interest rates, it's all proven correct by this one article, hey? What do you think? Let's have a look. So this is the little thumbnail, essentially, for the article, and we have a look here. This is the real article that Duncan wrote, so I'm imagining he didn't pick that title. ABS lending indicators show fall-off in new housing loans for May. Let's have a look. We'll jump over here to the ABS media release about these lending statistics. Let me just move this over here so you guys can see it. There we go. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. Such a polished operation here at HeiseSays. So new home loan commitments fell slightly in May. Okay. So that's the dark turn in Aussie housing. A slight fall in lending commitments, or loan commitments. Oh boy. It's all collapsing down. There has to be some research on the effectiveness of negativity in gaining attention on media. There has to be. I need to look into it. When I have time, I'll add it to that list of stuff that keeps growing. You know, you all have that list. The total value of new housing loans fell 1.7% in May to $28.8 billion, according to data released today by the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Oh, that's nearly 2%. Now, whenever we see anything like this, we need to look at it in the broader context, and we'll receive that here. We'll get that here when we see some of the charts. Historically, how do we compare to the past? What were conditions like in the past? What are conditions like now? One thing he mentions in this article down here, where is it? Right down the bottom, talking about all the places that are running hot. Where is it? Housing affordability, they mention, may limit the growth. However, housing affordability will place a limit on gains. Of course, because it's all, still going good. I put the premise here that housing affordability does not have as much of an influence on house prices as people suspect. I would put the argument forward that housing affordability has more of an impact on our population growth and when people decide to have children. Because if you can't get a home, you put off having kids. The value of new loans fell 1.3% in May to $10.7 billion. Owner-occupier loans, excluding first home buyers, fell 1.6% to $12.9 billion, while first home buyer loans fell 2.9% to $5.2 billion. So first home buyers are falling more than everyone else, which is not a surprise because, property is going right up there, isn't it? So monthly value of new loan commitments for housing, excluding refinance and seasonally adjusted. So here we have the chart that we need to look at. You've got owner-occupiers excluding first home buyers here in the blue, light blue, investors in dark blue, and owner-occupier first home buyers here. So we can see here, investors have dipped, owner-occupiers excluding first home buyers have dipped, and first home buyers have dipped. They've all dipped. Now let's go right back here to the chart and we can see if you project lines across. That's a straight line there, Florian. Yep, beautiful. Let's get the ruler tool out. There we go. Look at this. This, if you're not familiar with what I'm using, I actually use OneNote to do all my note taking and drawing over these articles to discuss them, and I'm a big fan of it. I use it all the time. But this interface is really good when you actually have a screen to draw on, and occasionally I'll plug one in here to the computers. But actually, I could do it now. I've got a graphics card slot free. Anyway, so we can see here if we've been above this level from the 2014-15, decade ago. We're still significantly higher than a decade ago. Residential, where's Resi? Resi, a decade ago, it's just been going up. Sorry, Resi. First home buyers, it's been going up. Let's play here. Let's try and get a really, really dodgy trend line. Okay. Investors, you can see that dip. That's the pandemic dip here. And of course, it shot right back up, and we're normalizing. So we're normalizing. But and you can look at this over time. Remember when around here, 2020, 2019, we were talking about housing, the media was reporting on RBA investigating a potential 40% decline in property prices. They wanted to stop real estate organizations from publishing any sales figures. And the media just leapt on it. And, well, there we go. What happened? Maybe the old saying is, buy when others are fearful. But, of course, you've got people that are bought in at the peak in the mania that pushed themselves too far. Fiona Kotzel, ABS head of finance statistics, said despite the fall seen across all types of buyers in May, the value of new loan commitments has still risen 18% over the past 12 months. Loans to investors have continued to see stronger growth than owner-occupiers over this period. Well, we can see here, loans to investors are generally, they're saying stronger than owner-occupiers, but they're generally much higher than first home buyers. And I would hazard a guess based on some of the old footage I've seen about people bitching and moaning about speculators or all the people coming in and buying houses from the 70s and the 60s. It's the same thing. I mean, honestly, I would rather have a country where you have individuals aspiring to be investors in property than large corporations aspiring to gobble up all of our property. Maybe that's just the ideological difference. More in the hands of individuals, less in the hands of the big corporates. Since May 2023, the value of new loans to investors was trending upwards across most states and territories. The largest rises were in New South Wales, up 24.8. Queensland, 4. Oh, boy. Western Australia, 73.9. Oh, boy. Oh. I thought Queensland was going nuts, but look at WA, guys. In May, the value of new loans to investors in Queensland reached an all-time high of $2.4 billion, exceeding Victoria for the third consecutive month. Yeah, Queensland's right. I mean, Queensland is going nuts. Property prices are going crazy around here. And in my area, we'll be approaching $1 million houses soon. And we're in the dodgy, crappy street in the suburb. And everything's just getting gutted and redone and refurbished. I'm slowing it down with my house project, but still, it just shows you. And I would argue in southeast Queensland, a big chunk of it is because our land supply isn't going to grow. Not as much as people hope. And our population growth is going to keep going up. That's just going to be more fuel to the fire, guys. This is mainly due to investors taking over larger loans in the Sunshine State compared to this time last year. We saw average loan sizes for investors in Queensland increase by 14.3% since May of 2023, from 508,000 to 580. Comparatively, the average loan size in Victoria fell 3.2% over the same period, from 584 to 566. Now, my understanding is this is skewed slightly by Victoria, Melbourne in particular, having more apartments, factoring into that for investors, but still. I mean, you get a nice Sunshine Coast property. Don't know if you're going to rent it out as well as something next to a university in the city, but hey. What do we have here? This is the average loan size for investor dwellings by state. And we can see Australia. Well, there you go. Let's get out the ruler again. What are we doing? This is not an accurate plot. Yeah, she'll be right. There we go. Mathematics done. I mean, you can see, guys, this takes me back to remember doing mathematics at high school and having to do all the bloody formulas and graph these things and get all these curves. Oh boy, it's everything's trending up except what's grey. Northern Territory is looking pretty flat, slightly up from. It's all over the place, Northern Territory, honestly, but everything's trending up. Property, purpose and state. So owner occupiers value in Australia, it's down, but we can see where it's going up in Queensland. Yeah, Tasmania. Value change. Number of changes, everything's going down. The owner occupier first home buyers and investors going up in Queensland, Victoria, WA, South Australia. The value is changing. So with that in mind, let's jump back to this article here. Okay, so we're seeing a slight dip over the historical period. We're still well ahead of a decade ago. So demand in Australia's ultra-tight housing market could finally be falling after years of sustained pressure with new loan commitments dropping. Okay. So finally falling after years of sustained pressure. He's talking about this little guy here, remember? That's what he's talking about. So we've had one happen there. We've had one happen there. We've had one happen there. We've had this huge tank. But this one's finally it, guys. This is it right here. See, I'll zoom in. You see there? I can't zoom in anymore. I've reached the max of zoom level. We can't magnify anymore. The pixels can't get bigger. Yep. Let's see. Just quoting the article there. Here we go. Oxford Economics Australian senior economist Marie Kilroy said the numbers showed a split in the country's housing market, with some states rising across the month. The bifurcation of the property market continues to play out. Yes, we've seen that. I mean, that's always the way it is. You've got Sydney and Melbourne leading the charge and other states catching up. And now, well, perhaps it could be the political climate or the experience of a lot of people living through Andrews, Victoria, why Melbourne ain't doing too well. And those taxes keep going up. And those investors keep getting pushed out. Sure, that's going to work wonders for your housing. West Australia, yes. Interest rate cuts from early 2025, compounded by sustained housing shortages, are set to trigger an acceleration in price growth thereafter. Okay, so they're oh, shit. Predicting housing prices to go up even more. It's not even. Remember, this article was talking about the dark turn in Aussie housing. Okay, a slip, which is frankly tiny, but it's a dark turn, guys. A dark turn. And I don't blame the journalist. I don't blame Duncan for that title. That's what News.com had to do to put forward to get attention. He got my eyeballs. I'm thinking, okay, what do we got here? But the problem is people will just see the headlines. And I'm out of my cold coffee. Okay. So we're talking, first home buyers down, New South Wales. Yes. Anything else interesting in here? Let's look at average loan sizes. I need to update my Excel table. I'll do that later so we can have a look. I mean, there you go. 767, 608. So let's have a chat about all of this, guys. So, do you think there's a dark turn happening in property in Australia? Is this finally the redemption arc for people who've been predicting a crash forever? That doesn't feel like it. What about the predictions that property's going to go up again? I stick by my argument that housing affordability is less important with regards to house prices but has more influence on birth rates and when people decide to settle, when people decide to have families. And housing affordability is a national crisis. It's something we're frustrated with. It seems to be a continuing trend here in Australia. I don't think it's going to change significantly in our lifetime. I think the only chance we have of addressing housing affordability is mass production of smaller starter homes that people can build upon, and new innovative ways for planning approval and coordination between local, state, and federal government. We need to change up the way we're doing stuff. And we need to make it easier. I like the honesty, completely by my bias, Give new couples $500,000 to interest-free to get a home. And then for every kid they have, knock a quarter off it. What do you reckon? That'll get our population growth going. That'll get more people in housing. Somehow I don't think that'll go too well with the voters. Anyway, take care, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.